All right, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DC Fine Art and happy 4th of July. So, this is a 4th of July special, and I am back up and running for a live stream today. I hope everybody's having a good 4th of July. And even if you aren't here for the live, that's perfectly fine. You can always catch me on the replay and just rewatch. This will be, and just to let anybody who's new on here, just to let you guys know, this will be a longer live video with me painting this American flag and the eagle. And so super exciting. So that's what we're going to be doing on here. It's also an art chat. So if any of you guys are here and if you want to chat in, you're perfectly fine just to ask me questions, because now is definitely a good time for that. So if there's something in maybe one of my past videos that maybe you're wanting to ask a question, or like if you were working on a medium and having issues with something particular that maybe you wanted to ask, you're more than welcome to ask me now. So here I can actually like talk to you guys. So a lot better than just having to text it out. So that's what this is an art chat and painting live, and it's going to be a longer live. So just to let you all know, longer live, which means just a little bit longer, because that's what we're doing for this painting. I'm going to try and get as much as done, hopefully get it all done. Really hoping for that. The other thing I want to cover with you guys is that I will be posting or putting this one here on sale. And so this eagle, when I get done with it, it will be posted. I usually do my selling, like I'll sell it on eBay. So if you guys are wanting this, in the link below in the description, you should have at the very bottom, it should say, basically like I'll have the link where it says if you want to see what originals that I do have available, and it'll go to my Facebook page. And on my Facebook page, I will list this one off and have the link on there to where you can go over to eBay if you want to purchase it. I also have some other ones that I have not posted on eBay yet that I will be, let's see here. Looks like my stream's running really bad. Let's see here. Yeah, I will be posting that also. Some of these other ones here that I will show you. I'm really wondering why my thingy is running a little slow. Let me check my settings here. Sorry about that. I'm kind of glitching out and it shouldn't be. Let me test my speed here. It was perfectly fine, so not sure why it's doing it. Okay. So while I am trying to check my speed on this, I am actually going to be showing you some of the ones that I'm going to be posting for sale. So I will be having, as you guys see, this one here was the oil painting, or the oil pastel, should I say, painting with the lightning. I have to go this way. Yeah. And it's got like the cactuses in the background. This one here will be on sale on eBay. So I will be posting that one. Of course, the American flag with the eagle will also be on eBay. And yeah, everything's running really good on here with my upload and my download. So I'm not for sure why I'm glitching out. It's really strange. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over here. I'm not quite for sure. Hopefully it just stops doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on and just see if it goes away, because it's really, really weird for it to be doing that. Let's go to stream settings, or stream health. Says good. Yeah. It'll be all right. So anyways, we are going to move along. Also, the other one that I will have up, and this is a newer one, I do not have this listed yet for sale, but we got the sea turtle here that I did with kind of a mixed media with watercolor and with inks. Pretty cool. So I'm listing that one off along with not these. These I'm just kind of bound and determined with. The other one is, as you guys had seen before, this one's really, really cute. We've got this pelican here that was done with gouache and watercolor. So that one there will also be listed on eBay. So the link, like I said, is in the bottom of the description. And I'm not quite for sure why my thing is freezing up. It's freezing up bad too. And then I wanted to go on, but I'm stuck. Stream is healthy. It's excellent. Sure, whatever. Okay, so I don't believe my computer. The other thing that I am wanting to show you guys is if you guys are interested, I do have my Patreon lessons below. I do piece them off so that way they're not too long, and usually about each week, except for this week. I've been trying to post like little videos on how to or any kind of color pencil stuff. So I remember we did this one here, which one day, see, I did Pebbles, my little hamster Pebbles, and he's going for an adventure on a camel. So he is riding that little camel, and I think it's so adorable, so super cute. Now, we're doing stuff kind of like this, but we also do other mediums. That is over on my Patreon. And that one was broken up like doing fur, we got eyes and nose. I break it down for like the background, like doing just the desert, and then working on the little hamster. So we break down videos in that to where they're not too long, and that way it makes it a little bit easier to be able to locate what part you're wanting to go to, or if you're just like working on your own color pencil piece, and let's just say you're struggling with fur, or you're struggling with eyes or a nose, you can go into those specific ones and look at that video on eyes and nose and see what I do in those videos. So, and then each month I also come out with like theme of the month to kind of give you ideas for the month of like July. We're doing red, white, and blue, of course. So we're doing some really fun things, just trying to go through my head everything that I want to tell you guys. And yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Boy, I keep on looking myself freeze up on the other side, but it says it's working good. I don't know. We have no clue. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to our live so we can start working on this painting, because I definitely want to get this thing done. So we're going to live work. So as you can see on the bottom of the screen, I do have the American flag reference photo like listed up there along with the eagle. And I just kind of combine those two in order to come up with the subject that we're going to be working on. Now, both these two images are from Pixabay, and they are free, royalty free to use. I also listed those two reference photos for you guys in the description below. So if you guys are wondering about maybe possibly doing something simpler, you can, and like I said, it's in the description below, so you can find those. And let's go on. Hopefully everything is working okay. I'm like paranoid about it right now, which there should be no reason. Everything's running really good on stuff, on computer stuff. So I got some different types of blues. There was a darker blue that I have right now. I got cobalt blue out. I definitely wanted it rich. Here is a blue. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Pathioloclane blue. Blurry, isn't it? Huh. Doesn't like to focus. But it's like phthalo, maybe it's phthalo CN blue. I don't know. And then we got phthalo blue here. I thought I had a darker type of blue. So every black, Mars black. Let me look. I mean, we can always mix a little bit of dark, like a black, or maybe my burnt or my, not my burnt umber, my oh, there it is, Prussian blue. So I got my Prussian blue. Now this one here says Academy Acrylic. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of both. I got the Liquitex Basics, which I absolutely love. And then I tried these Academy Acrylics, and they work kind of similar to, they're similar. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but whenever I'm painting and I have both of them there, you know, I don't even notice that it came from that. So these are the ones that I use for my painting, and it's got the Life Fast range right here. It says 1, excellent. So if you're worried about Life Fast, you know, just like the Liquitex Basics also has a Life Fast rating, Academy Acrylics has it here. It tells you if it's semi-opaque, and then it's excellent on the Life Fast on this one also. Probably be best if I read it underneath the English version on the side. So if you're looking for those, remember to look on the side of the Academy Acrylics if you're looking for the Light Fast readings. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take these blues out. I'm going to put them down here on my palette. So we got our different blues. But I know we're also going to be working on this top section here. This top section is going to be darker. So it's going to be like at night kind of thing. It's like darker. And if you want to, if we like magically have enough time, I'm always thinking out of the box. If we do have enough time, I'd really like to put a firework behind there. I think it would be really, really cool. So I'm putting all these different types of blues down. Probably more than what I really need, but it'll be okay. I also want to put my black down because I will definitely use it. This is Mars Black. And then I also want to go with my Payne's Gray. It has a blue in it, and I love Payne's Gray. I always add Payne's Gray to just about everything. So, and I did give me another tube of Payne's Gray, so we should be good. Now, what I'm going to do is take and spritz this just so that way the palette is wet. And I'm going to start. So we're going to get probably this filbert here. A lot of my brushes are generic. This one here is a number 12, and it says it is Fine Touch. So I'm thinking that's like Masterson's Fine Touch, or is it? Yeah, it's the one that you get from like Hobby Lobby type of brushes. And it doesn't really look like a 12 either, but I guess it is a 12. I don't know. Just doesn't look that big. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get some of our Payne's Gray, because we're going to do the background first. And then we're going to take just, actually I shouldn't even took that much black, because this is really black. And we're going to mix it in with the Payne's Gray. Maybe just a little bit more. And then I am going to give this a nice little spritz. And we're going to come over here and start painting. Now the canvas, I guess I should tell you what canvas I used. I went ahead and pulled this out. This is one of my nicer canvases. This is a Frederick's archival canvas. So that is what it's going to be done on. I already gave this a nice little spritz, so I'm just going to work it back and forth. We're going to have to do multiple layers on this. And since it is going to be so dark, I really don't mind not like using like a blender brush to try and blend out all the brush strokes on it. I ain't really worried about it. It's going to be super dark. And those brush strokes will be covered. My main objective is, even though I would really like to, because I'm very picky on everything, I'm wanting everything to be perfect. But I'm going to try and get this done for you guys, to have it done on this live. That is going to be my main goal. I'm hoping I can, but 2 hours, if it was a 2 hour, I'd end up being longer. Not very much time to try and get a full-fledged, beautiful painting done. As you know, painting usually takes time. Kind of went down on that just a little bit. I'm going to rinse off my brush, and I'm going to try and get in that while it's still wet. There, that's better. Continue with this. Now you see how I changed from holding the handle. I was holding it like way back here, just kind of painting that in, but now I have switched to holding it down lower. And the reason why I did that is because I am going into detail. When you go into something that you're trying to get the detail of, I would definitely hold a little bit closer, kind of like you would a pencil. So that way you don't go too far over. If you do, it's not the end of the world. If you end up taking it and it accidentally goes in there, and let's just say it dried too quickly on you, don't worry about it. You can always come back in once it's fully dry and then add white and use white on your brush, and that will fix it. So it'll turn it back into like a freshly new canvas. And I am painting with a bigger brush. That's the reason why too. I'm running into issues here. I'm going to have to switch brushes out just to get a little bit closer to that edge, because I am definitely going over the line. So I'm going to put that to dry, and I'm going to take out a different brush here. Got another mist. Probably not put that. I always have a habit of putting it there. So here we are, just painting this in. I may end up having to mix more paint because I'm running out of paint. Running out, but so close. So there we go. I got that as close as I can. And now I'm going to take my big brush again, grab some more color. And now we can easily go back over and fill some of these areas. It wasn't filled. And that is my first layer. So now I'm going to run the hair dryer real quick. I'm going to go ahead and dry that. We're going to do another coat. So I'm going to turn this to mute just so that way your ears don't hurt. All right, so now we got that done. We're gonna go ahead and add another coat of paint to this. So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add more of my Payne's Gray. Probably gonna have to make a big gulp of it here. And then take a little bit of the black, mix that in with the Payne's Gray. I'm gonna go ahead and give it another spritz. And I'm gonna give this another spritz. Hopefully I didn't get it too wet. And now we're gonna do another layer. Yeah, I'm not doing much for 4th of July this 4th of July. So what do you guys have all planned? Hopefully everybody's having fun, family, barbecues, all the goodies. Mine is going to be staying at home and trying my hardest to get ahead on everything. On the paintings. And for all you who are my Patreons, I will be getting some reference photos out. I'm hoping to get them out probably after the 4th of July, just because I'm trying to see, and I'm experimenting with my camera to get better photographs. I have a nice camera, so it should be able to give me really nice reference photos that I can get to you guys. But I was really hoping to try and get some really good ones of maybe some fireworks. So that is my plan. So that's why they haven't come out yet. And I may end up having Fred, my turtle, in there along with Stella. Stella might be in there. She might end up making it. I don't know. We'll have to see if she stops moving for a second to where I can at least, well, my camera actually can take in motion pictures, but I don't know. For some reason, I haven't tried it again. I was going to try it last night, and she didn't feel like waking up as early as I was going to go to bed. She's nocturnal. She did get a treat, but she was still sleepy, so she did not feel like doing anything. She probably did later on. Sometimes my hamster has, I don't know. For mine going to bed is her morning waking up, and sometimes when she wakes up, she's just like, no, it's too early. I'll take my treat and go. Like, nope. Well, sometimes she does wake up early enough to where she's like, I want out of here, and I want out of here now. It's time for playtime. And I've been taking her out and like letting her run around so that way she gets her playtime. But today she just didn't feel like it. She's like, I haven't even done my stretches yet. So I'm trying to use this brush and not have to go back to the other one. So I'm just getting as close as I can. And we'll end up having to do another layer from what it looks. So that's probably as good of a layer. It's definitely getting darker. Okay, so I'm going to mute this. We're going to hair dry it, get this dry, and do one more layer with it. All right, so I'm back again, and we'll do that last layer. So basically, instead of adding the black to this, I'm actually just going to come straight over and just use the Payne's Gray, give it another spritz, and give my canvas another spritz. Now, if you guys don't have these things are amazing. They're the ultra fine mist sprayer. You can pick those up at like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or any of those stores. Probably even Jerry's. I know for sure. I just haven't looked at Jerry's, but probably. I think they pretty much sell them pretty much everywhere now. But those things are super nice because if you're trying to use a regular mister bottle or, you know, another spray bottle, you're going to get some really, really big droplets of water, and that could end up streaming down and running down your canvas, which you don't want that. You do not want that much water on your canvas. So that little spritz bottle, I tell you what, I love it. It's definitely a must-have. I've had mine for a while now and haven't had no issues of it breaking or anything like that. It is definitely done very good. And see what I was saying about, like, don't worry about your brush strokes. Try and blend out with a blending mop brush. You don't really need that. I mean, my gosh, this is going to be dark. So really, in all reality, you're not going to see it. But even if you did see any kind of brush strokes, I would just make sure you're brushing one way, like I'm doing. Let's try and get it down here, close to the edge. Okay. So that looks to be pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. Let's do a little bit more. All right, so that looks to be good, and we should be done with that background. At least for now, unless you wanted to stick some fireworks behind it, which I know my son was like, come on, Mom, you need to add fireworks behind it. But I'm like, depending on the timing of this, on how long it takes me to get it done, because we still got to do the American flag and we need to do the eagle, so it may take a little bit longer. But let's go ahead and start putting in some of our colors here. I think we got all our blues out, so I definitely want to work with the blues. And I have my reference photo pulled up on my little iPad. So, see, there's my little iPad. I guess it would be better if I showed you here. So that way I can zoom in and I can zoom out. Makes it so much better. Instead of having to print something out or anything like that, I can literally zoom in. So that's what I really like, having it on a screen where I can zoom in, because sometimes my eyes are horrible and my printer, let's just not even go there. So much better on this. Let's see here, where do we want to start out? And it looks like, to me, I mean, you can barely see the seam line in here, but I want to make that a little bit more. Probably want to make this a little lighter, and then this here a shade. So make this one here lighter, this background, because we're going to have, if we do end up putting a 4th of July firework, we're going to want this side, these little humps here, just kind of glowing. So let's take out my smaller filbert. How do you like it? Let's see here. And I don't know what size it is. I think it's like a number 2, but it's like the same size. Actually, it could be about the same size as that one. But it's supposed to be a 12. Let's go a little bit. Maybe I could do it round. Oh, there it is. That's a 2. It's actually more, I keep on saying it's a filbert, but every time I look at it, it almost looks like a flat. It's just so tiny. It's got a longer handle on it too. So let's make sure my brush is wet, been dried off. I'm still trying to see those colors. I'm going to take some of this lighter blue I have here, which is the cobalt. We don't want it to be that bright, so we're going to add a little bit of this, the word I cannot pronounce. Let's just see. I can't even say it. It's horrible. That looks to be a good color. Looks to be a lighter color, maybe just a little bit too light. Let's add just a little bit more of a darker blue to this, just to kind of tone it out. There. That might work. I really like that color for now. If we need to make any adjustments, we can. We're going to give this a light little mist, and we are going to go back in. Let me see here. Where is that? That's like a little blob. My pencil started to erase there, come off the canvas, but it's okay. I may have my brush really loaded with paint, so I have to be very careful. Right around this edge. And then right here to this edge is the blue. And here's the thing too, is like, how far do I want to come down with this lighter blue? I don't want to come down too far, just right around the edge here. And I know we got it right in here, but that'll be fine. Should be fine. Let's take, and I want to put the same color lighter blue, because remember the light source from if we stick a firework in here is going to be bouncing off these edges. And see, this one here is going to cut it pretty close to that edge. Cut that right across there. And I want to bring it all the way up. I've really got my brush loaded way too much here. I'm going to give it a nice little spritz, give this a nice little spritz, just to make sure I got enough water on my canvas to kind of glide across it and not do any kind of dry brushing, because that's no fun. Now we're coming up some nitty-gritty areas here. I may end up having to bring out my round brush, detail brush, so that way I don't get it as much in the star, even though I can correct it by adding white to it. Sometimes when you're in a hurry or you have to get this done and you have a time frame, you really don't want to have to do that. So I'm going to stay away from those stars. Let's put just a little bit more on. Is that an edge of a white? It could be. Let me see. I think that's part of a white star. It is. Okay. Kind of creeps around the corner there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use a smaller round brush. That way I can get around those stars. And I'll try my best not to get in them, but if I do, you can always correct it once it dries. And use white. So there is that. So we're going to start changing these colors a little bit. I did pretty good on this one, but I'm just going to make sure I clean up those edges here and there. And then I'll have to go around that star. Hair dryer is catching on my leg. Okay. Let's go ahead and get it down here on this star. Maybe just a little bit around on these edges, just so that way we got that rounding. And I know we're going to be having to do another coat of paint on this, so we are definitely going to be working in layers. I'm going to go ahead and grab some more of this, little bit of this lighter blue, like the cobalt blue. And I'm actually going to lighten this here. It's going to be a, it's not really a lighten like if you use white, should I say. It's more of like going to make a little bit more of a contrast between this and this. It's going to be a shade difference. Okay. So that looks pretty good. And now we got to go to making it a little bit darker as we go. So we definitely got some stars there. Let's take and use our bigger brush here. And I'm going to start out with adding some more of my, I think this is my phthalo blue here. And it is like very rich. And I'm mixing it up with a little bit of my Prussian blue. Prussian blue is really gorgeous. So this is going to come in just a little bit darker now. Remember, we're going to need to do 2 layers or 3. Depending on where the highlights are in this or the ripples in the flag in this, you're going to make them lighter or you can make them darker. Have to give this a good little spritz here. Let's see if I can make a straight line. I mean, even if I go over my line just a little bit, that's still okay. And we're going to still go. Let's get this all the way down. I do believe that's part of a star. No, that's his shoulder. That is the eagle's shoulder. If there's any kind of highlight or anything like that, then we can always put that in afterward. This is a really nice, rich base tone here. Now remember, on the feathers, anything of the eagle that's going to have feathers kind of coming down, it's okay to kind of put the blue on up there because the feathers are going to stream down over the top of the blue. So let's just say if you have the feathers in here kind of coming down, and let's just say um, if you add a little bit more blue, like take away some of those feathers, like take away some of them, then that's fine because when you come down through, you're going to streak those feathers through the blue. So it's going to look a little bit more realistic. You don't want it to look too choppy or have that jagged edge. You want to have the blue behind the feathers. So when the feathers stream over it and there's gaps in between, you're going to see blue. Even this longer feather that I had drawn in there, I could probably take some of it away with my blue because I will go over the top of that. Now, when you're working with his beak, that's not the case. The beak, you will not be able to see the blue behind the beak. So I would just do my best just to go around the best you can of the beak. Now here's a good thing too. If you're like mixing up colors and you run out of color or you run out and you have to mix up your paint again, that's really kind of nice because every time you mix up your paint, you're actually adding a variation of a different color in there. Just a hint. It may be a little darker, a little bit more lighter, just depends. But that also helps it too on having those different shades in there to look more realistic because you're going to have different shades in real life with the light bouncing off of it, or maybe the flag had been out in the sun a little bit. You never know unless it's a brand new flag. So you may have some different colors in that. Or the light reflection if you have fireworks. Maybe some of it might look a little different. So I really like mixing colors. And I don't ever, expect to mix it perfectly together to get the exact shade or the exact percentage or anything, but that's what makes it nice. So I'm going to get in and around that beak, and there we have it. I'm going to mix a little bit of this up, so we're going with our darker blues here. I'm going to give it a nice little spritz. And I'm going to come back through and spritz our canvas again. These are gorgeous colors though. Really like these colors. Getting as close as I can to the wing or the feathers. As I can. Looks pretty good. Now I gotta get those other areas here. May have to take out my round brush to try and get as close as I can because to the white star and maybe right around this beak area here. I might be able to get a little closer to the beak, but the star, probably need to get a round brush for that one. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get around for that. It's just a little bit of a awkward position for me to get into. But we got some other bigger areas in here. Kind of work around. And then I'll have to take out the round brush. Make more of a detail round brush. And if you see this line that I kind of drawn in here, which I really probably didn't have to draw that line in there, that is more of a shadow. So I just have that shadow kind of blocked in. All right, so I got some of these bigger areas in here. So I'm going to come back through and, well, yeah, that's the edge. It's throwing my eyes off. So we're going to come back through with our round brush. But I just want to make sure this brush here is completely cleaned off. Okay. Coming over to my round. And we're going to have to mix up some more color. So I'm going to take some more of my blues and then the darker blue. So we got the Persian and that really, I think it's Persian and phthalo. Yeah, it's Persian and phthalo on this one here. Just mixing up those colors. I'm going to give it a nice little spritz though. Probably going to have to mix it up again. Nice little spritz on the canvas. And we will go again. Hello, thank you for joining. Happy 4th of July. I hope you're having a great day. It's supposed to be storms over here though. We're supposed to get thunderstorms. Hopefully your day is full of sunshine. Ours has got sunshine right now, but then it's supposed to be stormy. I don't really like storms much. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and go around these stars. I wouldn't worry too much if it kind of makes a line in there, you know, because you can see the difference. We're going to have to go over this again, so not too worried about it. I think I went up here a little bit too much though. Let me try and clear that up. So as you can see, I kind of went a little bit too far up. I'm going to take a wet brush and just kind of lighten that down just a little bit. There. Let's try and get around these stars. Yeah, I'm definitely running out of room in my house on where to put my paintings. I have a lot of them that I just kind of stored for the longest time. And I know I did have a website. I love your drawings. Oh, well, thank you so much. Aw, that's super sweet. Thank you. All it takes is practice. Practice, practice. But it definitely helps out too when you start learning how to correct your mistakes, because I definitely made mistakes, believe me. But then I had to turn around and say, okay, what do I need to do to correct this? And then once you learn that, you're basically good to go. You can create all kinds of things. So I'm just trying to get in and around his head here with this little brush. Could you just imagine if you were to paint a whole entire picture with just like a little bitty brush? There's no way I could do it. No way I could do it. I mean, yeah, you'd probably end up with this like hyper realistic painting. I mean, you would have to be, but could you just imagine? I just like I have to have my bigger brushes. Otherwise it'd be like SpongeBob, like 1 year later. Still painting. So I'm just trying to get as close as I can in and around this little area. There's a little corner of his beak and the flag here. Let's see here on his head. Just gonna go in there and get that, and then we'll be able to get around these stars. Now this ought to be really fun because you have to get right around there. It's kind of a nice little angle there. Then we'll get right here close to his little star, because he has little stars behind his beak. Almost looks like he's got spikes on his beak. Okay, so now we got that star coming out. And now we're going to go up here and get around this little star. See if I can put my hand in an awkward position here, just to kind of keep myself from going into the beak. Kind of arching it just a little bit. There we go. So it looks good. Looks like there's a little bit right around here that I just didn't. And I don't want to stick my hand in the paint neither. There we go. Now we got it. So now what we're going to do is come up here to this little area right in here, and we need to make that a little darker. That almost looks like it's the same color, but it's really not. Let's take a little bit of the cobalt that we have down here, and basically wanting to stream that cobalt over the top of this area. May have to spritz it just a little bit. That way we get no dry brushing. But just take some of that cobalt and just line that up with the edge here. Let's go back through. Line that up. Doesn't have to be perfect neither. It doesn't have to be a straight line. Make sure it's not a straight line. We don't want straight lines. And then you can always just kind of blend that out a little bit. And we are going to go right through here. There we go. Looks a little bit better. And we can always go over that again. But I'm going to take our darker blue that we were working with, and we got to fill in this little area here. And I put a lot on my brush, probably a little bit more than what I need. I just need to get that tip loaded. And we're going to come down here with it. More of a darker blue. It's not too dark, but it is darker. Now we can always go even darker if we needed to. But right now we don't need to go that dark. We just need to fill it in with a darker blue than what we have above it for the highlight. There we go. This is a star here. It's a partial star in the bend. And I got the hairdryer caught on my leg. Wasn't for sure if that was going to fall. Now, if you start running into any kind of dry brushing just a little bit, you can always spritz it again, spritz your canvas again. So that looks good. Remember, we'll need another layer, but we're just trying to get some coverage there. Okay, so now we got that portion done. Well, the first layer, I shouldn't say completely done, but we got that first layer done with the blue of the flag. I'm going to come through here and we're going to add an even darker blue for the shadow. And basically we're just going to get all this base tone done. So we're going to get that done before we add another layer. So what I'm going to do is grab some of my, it's going to be a darker color. So I definitely want to go with the darkest blue that I have. I don't know if that's between Prussian or there's a hair in there. So it's either going to be Prussian blue and then maybe add just a touch of black to it. Make sure you spritz it down, spritz all your colors, making sure they don't dry. I'm going to look at these colors very closely because sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but sometimes they can turn almost like a greenish color. So we have to be very careful with that. Okay, and then, let's see here, I got to get my full screen on. How much does a sheet of paper weigh for paper to withstand oil paints? Ooh, a sheet of paper? You know, I would say, what is my paper? Hold on. That's a good one. This here is a pretty thick, I don't like take down the camera in the process. This paper here, I know it's a little bit more on the pricey end of things. It's Sennelier, but this paper is really thick. I want to see what the weight is on this paper. Well, this one here is 160-pound paper. So we got 160. That could probably do it because this here is meant for oils. It doesn't seep through. You know, any of the oil stuff won't seep through. So you're going to need either a 160-pound, or if you get a canvas pad of paper, like, let me see if I can find it. Oops. I think sometimes I keep it over here. Canvas pad. Okay. Or Strathmore. Let's put it here. Here's a Strathmore, and it is a canvas pad. And this one here, you can also do oils on because I have done oil painting on it. And it is, well, this one here is 115-pound, but the only reason why it's not as thick is because it almost feels like it's got a plasticky kind of feel surface to it. So it's not, I don't know if you guys can see that. Look at that. It's like made differently. See? It's almost like a canvas type of paper. So that way your oils won't like go through. So if you get like a canvas paper, Strathmore, those are really good for like practicing oil painting on paper, or trying to go with something that's like 160, 150-pound paper. I mean, it's going to have to be pretty thick because your oils are from the paint will start to seep through your paper. So if if it were me and I'm wanting to actually do oil painting on it, I would probably suggest going with something like this because price wise, this one here is a little bit better, like it's lower end of the scale. If you went with Sennelier for oil pastels, those are a little bit pricier. That pad there was, for me, I mean, me personally, it was a little bit more pricier. So I hope that helps you out. But definitely, if you're wanting to do that on paper, that paper is a really nice one to practice on. I know I did oil painting on it, and it works out really nice, and to get your details too. So if you're wanting to work some really fine details with your oil painting, that paper is nice and smooth to where you can actually get more of more fine details in it. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Oops, I just mixed up my darker color. We'll see. Go ahead and get this one little spritz, and we are going to go and do this shadow. Ooh, I actually used my, I'm still with my round brush here. I'll be all right. There's some stars I need to go around. Let's try and go around these edges real quick. Whoops. I almost dropped my brush. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Really good about wearing my paint. Really needs to go on the canvas. Not necessarily on my hands, but it happens. Let's see, I'm getting around this little star here. Now, as you can tell, if you have like a kind of like a shadow coming in, then these stars that I'm going around, it's most likely going to have a little bit of a shadow in these stars also. So it's not going to be like pure white unless you've got a highlight. So the stars are going to have to basically reflect whatever it is it's reflecting. So if you have blue in there, most likely it might be a touch of blue in your white stars. Or you can even go to gray. Oh, thank you. You're welcome anytime. I definitely love helping. So anytime, just message me and I will gladly help. I am here. Let's see here. We got this dark, and now we got the train. Oh, I was wondering where that star went. I was like, where's the other star? It's behind the eagle's head. It's like, Earth to Deborah, come back. Okay, so we're going to leave that dark. I think it's really the only, well, no, there's some more dark in there, but it's not as dark as that color. So we're going to take some more of our blue here that we did on this bottom, and I'm going to go in and around some of these star areas. I almost just wiped out a star. Did you guys see that? That came really close. It's like, ta-da! Star just vanished. That sucks. Okay. Just trying to get in and around these stars with this brush while I have it. And then I'll get in and around these stars. Let's see here. Let's get in and around this top portion. I definitely know that I want to get away from this little round brush because otherwise I'll be painting for a lot longer than what I want to. I'm trying to get this done for you guys today. Do you recommend fast or slow hardening paints for beginners? Okay, for beginners, like as in acrylic paint or oil paint for beginners. I have, whenever I personally started to play, I don't even know why I said that, paint, I did start out with oil paints, and my oil paintings were okay. I started out with landscaping, and of course, you know, when you're starting out, a lot of times some people will look toward doing like Bob Ross paintings, and those are really good paintings to start out with, but he worked wet on wet with his paints. And so I was trying to do wet on wet. And I tried my hardest to try and get it to look as realistic as I possibly could. Like, I wanted it to look super, super real. But every time I'd always paint, it's like I wouldn't have my contrast down, or the blending, I would overblend. So there was a lot of that going on. Then it would take forever for it to dry, and then I would like mess it up somehow. Knowing me, I'm very clumsy. Now, when I started acrylic painting, everything was drying so quickly. So it was hard for me to, I thought, you know, I don't think I can ever acrylic paint. But when I found out is acrylic paints are really easy for me personally. And I actually can do really good work with my acrylic paints now that I know how to fix my mistakes. Whenever I make a mistake, I'm like, it's no big deal. I can fix anything. The dry time is just amazing because I don't have to wait, you know, until the next day if you're using some of those fast drying mediums, you know, that you add in, like your liquid and stuff like that that you add to it to make it dry for the next day. I don't have to wait. Um, the other thing is just that time. I mean, the time frame of it. Now, if you are the type that has a really busy schedule, and let's just say you're a go, go, go person and you got to handle work, you got to handle kids, you got to do, you know, all these different things, and you don't have as much time, then if you started out just doing the oil painting and learning how to work in layers and do your first layer, wait until it dries, and you could be doing other things at home, and then you can come back and do another layer, then oil painting would be, I mean, it should be just fine. So it's all just depending on your time frame. If you want to wait for that dry time, or if you're wanting to just paint continuously until you get it done, then acrylic paint would be the best. So it's just based off of how long do you want to take to get a painting done. And that's basically what it comes down to it. There is techniques for both of them. So that is kind of like your choice on that. But a lot of people start out with oil painting first. before jumping into our acrylic painting, but it feels to me like when I did it, I should have just kept up with our acrylic painting if that's the medium that I want to learn because of how quickly I can get a painting done than doing an oil painting. Unless you work wet on wet, and that is kind of like a thing of its own. I know that's a hard one to answer. Hopefully I answered that to help you. I still have a bunny in oil painting that I was working on just recently, and I didn't record it for you guys because it's been so long since I worked with oil paints, and I was like, you know, I'm actually going to not do the wet on wet process. I'm going to do the whole thing, letting it dry, waiting the next day, adding a layer, waiting the next day, adding another layer. And it was the little bunny that I have in the background. I know you probably can't see it. Let me bring him up here and show you guys. I never did get him done though. So he's still stuck and not been done. But here's the little bunny that I was doing an oil painting. And I was working in layers. So I would do a little bit and then let them dry. Wait the next day, come back, do a little bit, let them dry. Come back the next day, work on it, let it dry. And it's just like, it got to a point where I needed to come back and work on it. But I was just like, I got so many other things now that I want to do. And poor little bunny just sits there now, which he's kind of like the art room decoration, but he needs to get finished. So it's something that that you can still do. You can still have a lot of fun with it. It just depends on your time. Give that another spritz, and my colors here. I'm going to try and get around this star. And it's such a shame that I didn't record it, but I was like, I need to, yeah, the little bunny. I don't know, your little bunny on there is really cute. I guess my little bunny's like cute. But yeah, he never got done. And my son, I told him, I said it never got done, and he just looked over at it and goes, it looks done to me, it looks cute. And I'm like, it's not done. It went past Easter, so. Trying to get in and around. I need to do the right around the eagle's head. Let's try and get that. So it's kind of getting some dry brushing there. Yeah, the other thing too, when working with oil coming from, let's just say if you started out just learning acrylic painting and how to work with that, and then you take, and once you learn the layering process to go back to doing oil painting, it's like a night and day difference, by the way. Night and day difference. It's almost like you can do oil painting too. It just takes a lot longer. So just learn your layering process, and you can learn it any which way. If you want to start out learning your layering process with color pencils, if you want to start out learning your layering process with like acrylic paint, you can, but there's other mediums. I know I'm turning around looking, but all those layering processes that you do with each and every medium, you can do it with anything, like almost any one of your mediums. So just sit down and learn your layering process with the medium that you want to learn with, and then you can take that same thing, the same process, and put that in other mediums, and it works. The only difference is if you were using watercolor, it's hard to make watercolor go lighter once you go dark. So you want to start out lighter, then go dark. So it's just backwards on that. But if you learn your layering process, you can put it to anything and you can do it. Animal fur. Oh, yes. Animal fur is a lot of fun. It's a long process. Depending on what you're doing, it definitely is a longer process. I do have a video on my Patreon for that, and me just working, doing animal fur, like the panda. And I think, yeah, I don't think I did a free one on there for fur, because I have in each medium I try and do one little video for free, so you can just go there and just be a free member, and you can watch some of the free ones that I have on there on each medium, and it's just one video. But I don't think, I'm trying to remember what the acrylic paint one was for free. I don't think I did. It could have been part of a bird. It could have been a toucan. There was one on there for free, and it was just one segment, but I don't think it was fur. But yeah, maybe we need to do something like that on here. Like do like something with fur. I have other ones that I'm started, some of my things for my kitchen. I'm trying to get my kitchen completely covered with some of my paintings, and I'm doing like a fried egg and gonna hang it up on in my kitchen. And then the next one is going to be, what is it? An egg, a fried egg. And then I picked out, what was it? Fried egg. Oh my gosh. Why is my memory gone bad? I know there was milk, like milk pouring out. I wanted to do one like that for my kitchen, and there is something else. What? Oh, a cheeseburger. I want to do a cheeseburger, and I'll put that in there. And it was really funny because I was like trying to think of the things to put in there, and I said I want to do an egg, and my my daughter is half brother goes, I don't like eggs. And I was like, really? Yeah. He goes, why do you have an egg up there? And I'm like, because I was gonna paint an egg, a fried egg. And he goes, oh, I don't like eggs. I'm like, it's just a thing that goes in the kitchen, okay? Like, you don't have to like it. It's just a kitchen thing. It's a cooking thing, I guess. But it cracked me up. Well, I don't like eggs. I probably would put a cheeseburger on there, and he'd like, I don't like cheeseburgers. I'm like, no. Come on. You're not eating the painting. It's just something to go in the kitchen. You don't have to like it. Just because it's a painting in a kitchen doesn't mean you have to eat it. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that. I don't know. I was wanting to do an acrylic painting of the cheeseburger, but sometimes it makes me feel like I want to do like a color pencil of it. I just don't know. I don't know. We may end up doing, I don't know. It's such a hard one. Yeah. So I don't know. The egg one I started a sneak peek already. Let's see here. Which way does it go? I'm making the egg wrap around the canvas, by the way. So this is the egg. And it's going to be dark here, dark around. And the egg is going to completely wrap around the canvas because I absolutely love that. When you have it completely wrap around the canvas as though the egg is just like kind of going up and around it. So you can look at all angles. I absolutely love how that's done. That I've just been doing it on a lot of my artworks, like just making everything wrap around the canvas. I actually need to use a bigger brush on that. Let's get these details. Loaded my brush up way too much on this. Yeah, the egg I am recording, but it is so, it's kind of harder to do a video with our acrylic painting because I'm recording it for you guys, but I'm not able to show you my paint palette. So that is the difficult thing on that one. Like, I don't know what to do on it as far as like, I don't have the cameras yet to be able to multi-angle do it unless we're doing like a live stream. Then I can do like, you can see my palette, you can see all my stuff. But if I were to do that on a regular video, all I got is one camera, so one angle. I mean, eventually I know that I'll be able to do better videos where I'll have multi-angles, but for right now, I am not there yet. I can't wait to get there. That would be so nice. That way you guys can see everything a whole lot better. I just need to hurry up and get through this base layer. It wasn't a star there, was it? No. There. That's a whole lot better. Let that dry. And now we'll go back in. Let's do some of this. I do believe this here is the last part of the blue. We may just do one single layer on this until I can. So I'd really like to get this done today. It's probably going to have to be a little bit lighter around that area because of the highlight and the ripple. So we're going to have to go with a lighter color in there, right around this edge, make that kind of stand out. I'll take the littler, more fine round brush on this, like around the stars. Let's try and get this filled in. This is the last part of my blue. Let's try and get this down here. Okay, that looks really good. So now let me get out my round brush and try and get some of these stars in and around it. And then we'll probably move on. I know I need to do a second. Ooh, really thin on that star. Silly me. I'll just take a wet brush and just kind of go over it. May have to dab it. Let's try and lift some of that. There we go. Perfect. Put just a little bit too much water in there. Okay, that's better. Get around this star here. And then we got to go to a little bit lighter of a blue. And once we get done with this little highlight of the lighter blue, we're going to go in and start doing the stars while it dries. Oh, back off of that. I'm going to put a lighter blue in there. I need to go over here to this star. Let's do that. All right. I'm going to take some of my cobalt blue and a little bit of my the name that I cannot pronounce. Pathol Ocean. Pathocian. I don't know. That is such a hard name. I don't understand. It's like, please, something easy, like 4 letters. 4-letter word. 3-letter word. Great. Make it hard. Put it in here. Some of this blue. It's a lighter blue. Maybe in some of that too. Okay, we're going to come up here and I'm just going to put, there's a star in there too. And I'm just going to get right along that edge. And there we have it. You can always bring some of that cobalt down into some of this darker area that you already had done if you need to. So that way you're not making like a straight line. You could always bring it down. There. That way you got kind of a transition in there. And I like these lighter colors that you can see already in there, even though I haven't added my second layer, but you can kind of see some ripples and stuff already kind of popping through. You can always just emphasize that by adding some lighter tones in some of those areas if you want them to stay. But we're going to go on to our stars because our stars don't need to be left that bright a white. That's just way too light. So what we're going to do is we're going to take we need white. So here's titanium white. And I really like to mix it with a like a lighter blue, or we could go with gray because it is darker. But I'm thinking more of a light blue. We can either mix that up ourselves by adding a little bit of our colors. Let's see here. Do I even have a light blue? There's light blue permanent. I don't like that color. I don't know. Cobalt blue. I don't know. We could just lighten the cobalt blue. Yeah. So I don't really like anything I got here. I don't think it's going to work out that well. It's either that or adding gray. Let's just see. I'm going to take just a little dab of my cobalt blue, and I'm going to take a lot more of the white. Let's put that in there. That looks a whole lot better. That's what kind of color I want to go with. cobalt blue and more white. Just a pinch of the cobalt blue, not very much. I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick little spray. I'm going to go ahead and give the canvas a nice little mist. Let's get it out there. Okay. So of course, we're going to put this color as a base color in here. It is a light cobalt blue with a white mixture in it. Once this one dries, though, I just want to let you guys know, because you're probably like, what? When this dries here, since we had like a little bit of a lighter blue kind of concept here because of possibly fireworks that are going to be in the background, light source is going to be coming from this side. Once that dries with that light blue, we can always come in and add a highlight to it, like a white highlight. That's what you're needing to get at. You want a base tone to where you can go lighter or you can go darker, and you want that with both your blues. That's what you call base color. At least what I call a base color. Base tone is the color that you can go either lighter or darker with on your canvas. If you go to the extremes and you paint it all white, then you're not going to be able to go lighter or darker. Well, you probably go lighter on a darker one, or on a darker, too dark, you can't go darker. Too light, you can't go any lighter. Oops, got out of bounds on there. I'm going to go ahead and get my wet brush. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. Cleaning up those edges that I went out of line on. May need to mix up some more of this light blue. Let's go in here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to mix some more up. So we're going to take a pinch of the cobalt and a whole lot more of the white. There we go. So I'm putting in that light blue in here. And when I want to add a highlight to these stars where light would be hitting it, I can always make it, use a white, a straight white to put in those highlights. Right now they look like blue compared to that, but once I get done putting these stars in, it's going to basically trick your eyes, and it's basically going to show it more, looking more white. Oh, I forgot a blue there. Good job, Deborah. Completely forgot to put in a blue. It's all right, I'll come back and get it. I'm gonna make this just a little bit more of a flatter edge so I can come in and make that across there. Let me fix that blue because that looks really weird. It's kind of bugging me just a little bit. It's like, good job, Deborah. You totally forgot to go around a star. Here. A lot better. This one here is a little star kind of coming in here, so I definitely want to put that little edge in there. There. And this star comes to a point right there. Now, like I said, this star here that's in the shadow will get a little darker in the shadow. So this area here will have to go darker. So, and to do some of my darker stars or to do a little, I mean, it's not going to be much. Let me look. I haven't even really been looking at my reference photo too much. Yeah, it's just going to be like possibly adding a touch of Payne's Gray in there, I would say. That would probably do it. Love my Payne's Gray all the time. Just add a touch of Payne's Gray to your coat. I would do it, but the touch of Payne's Gray, if I were going to mix it up to make it a little bit darker, it would just be at like a little touch, like the point of like your tip of your brush, just a touch. And I would mix the Payne's Gray up with the cobalt and white mixture. You had to make these stars here to make that color. I would just put a pinch of the Payne's Gray in that mixture. That way you're not like kind of, you just want to make that shade a little bit darker. Giving this a nice little spritz. Come in here. And do it across. Let's get this one down here. We almost got these stars filled in with the base layer. Oh, this is such an awkward one. Just have to get the tip of my brush. It had some folds in the material, so of course the stars look a little wonky. Okay, let's try and go in here. That painted. And then we got one more star before we add in the shadow. I definitely want to make sure though that my stars are dry. Before doing that. Plus that, I know that if we get the stars done and the background's not done, the flag is actually, technically, it's not done. I only added one layer to it. Definitely needs a couple more layers. All right, so I got all but two more stars. I just missed two. Gotta get these little stars up here. Here we go. And then I gotta get this little end here. And then we only got one more star for the base layer. This is true. This is a bird depicted only from the sides. Yeah, I mean, are you talking about like this bird here? Yeah, he's like looking to the side. Um, Now the picture that I did post on here is from Pixabay, but as you can tell, the bird's looking this way. But on Pixabay, if you click on the link and pull up the actual photo from Pixabay, the bird's going to be looking this way. So what I did is when I downloaded it, all I did was turn the bird on my editing, like I edited it, and I turned the bird to face this way. So it's going to look a little different on Pixabay just because I flipped the bird. Like I wanted him to look like out toward where the flag was blowing instead of looking this way. So I think that's I think I answered the question. Let's see here. So I got the question right. Yeah. So it may look a little different if you're looking at Pixabay and it looks a little different. If that's what I think that's what you're meaning, but I'm not for sure. But yeah, he's depicted as his head turning sideways. His chest is right here. So he's just kind of turned his head like he's just looking sexy. He's looking sexy over his head. Like doing that little turn. Yeah, that's what he's doing. The little eagle's looking sexy. I don't know why I called him a little eagle. Eagles are very big. But I guess on my canvas he's not as big as a real life eagle, so he's a little eagle. Ugh, I'm gonna get out of line on this one just because I am too lazy to switch to a different brush. And I will come back through and correct it. Oh, I'm cleaning the wrong star. Durr. It's like, happy 4th of July, I've lost my mind. It is gone. Let's see here. Just get this going. Let me just take some blue. Just do it the easy way. Just cover it with blue. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we got our stars in. We'll wait for them to dry before making our shadow in there. If I need to, I can always have so much water. Okay. Just kind of going over some of these areas around the star that maybe I have got out of line in. It's a really pretty color. All right, so we're gonna wait for that to dry. And I know I need another layer with our flag. So let's go ahead and take care of that. I definitely want to go back over some of these highlighted areas where the light would be kind of hitting them. And I definitely want to make those a little lighter. So we're going to take some of that color that I cannot pronounce. And we're going to take some of our Sicilian blue, or not Sicilian, that one's cobalt. And then I'm going to take a pinch of white. I'm going to add that in there. Let's take a little bit more of that blue in there. Of the name that I cannot pronounce. Maybe that'll work. Let's give it a nice little spritz. And let's give our canvas a spritz and see if we can't highlight some of these areas just a little bit more. At least make them stand out a little bit more. We don't need an actual white highlight in here. I don't want to make a smooth edge. Okay, it looks pretty good. I'm going to take a little bit more of my white. Mix it in here a little bit more. So that way our colors just change now. Now it's a little bit different than the color I just added in here. May even be a little bit lighter. That's fine for now. Okay. And I'm going to take that same color and just kind of get the top of this edge here. And do the same thing here. Let's get some of it just a little bit lighter. Oops, I may have went a little bit out of bounds there. Just take some of my Payne's grain, stick it in there. There. That works. I'm going to take some of that lighter color too, and I'm going to go in here and just add a little bit in here too. Just on the tippity top of that. Here. That looks pretty good. Is there any other lighter areas? Looks like there's might be a little bit in this area here too. Just a little bit kind of coming out from that edge. I probably want to add a little bit more water to it. So we get a little bit more of a straight kind of coming across here. This may end up being a little bit too light. I can always come back on top of it though, so I am not too worried. But I'm just adding that light blue in here, right to the edge of this, just to make it a little bit more crisp. There. I'm going to try cleaning the edges just a tad. There. That's good. And then, let's see here, is there any more kind of highlighted out, like really bright? We do have a darker area coming through here, which I just now noticed. Okay. This has got to be darker. Almost, almost the same color as that, except I don't want it that color, that dark. So I'm going to put some more of my darker blue in here, add some more water to it, get it a little bit loosened up, and we're going to come back through here and make this a little bit more darker, because it's always a good thing to be checking your reference photo, huh? Right in here, we are going to come across. And what this is going to do by making this much darker is it's going to make this little area here kind of pop out. Remember, if you make things darker, that pushes it back. If you make it lighter, then it pushes it forward. It brings it forward. So dark pushes it back, light brings it forward. So if this is already lighter and I'm putting dark in there, it's going to push it back. It's going to be a lot further back. Now this painting, when I get done with it, will be on sale. So sad. It's gonna be going away. So pretty. It's gonna be pretty cool when I get done with it. Believe me. If it ends up not selling, it is definitely going up somewhere in my house until it does sell. I always enjoy it. So it's like, may have to hang up the painting for a little while until it disappears. Be like, okay, it's going to its forever home. But I just want to enjoy it just for a little bit. If it doesn't sell really quick, I definitely do that. I made a comment one time that I thought it was really funny if I just hang up all my paintings like all over, like this whole room here. I want it completely decked out all the way around, no spaces left, and it all have paintings all over it. But then if you go around my house and you go into the living room, there's like painting after painting after painting after painting, like everywhere. Like anybody who comes over and visits, friends, family, they're just like, every bit of these, they said, did you do this one? And I said, yeah, I did that one. And they're like, did you do this one? I'm like, yeah, I did this one. So then they start looking around like this. And I think it's kind of funny because I was like, yeah, I said, look, you just walk in and be like, ta-da, here's my art gallery. Just walk into my house and you can see every inch of the wall covered. I think that's whenever they made the comment. They're like, oh, now you need to just start charging admission. I was like, thanks. No. Thanks a lot, friends. I'm gonna repaint this one again. Let's add a little bit more of this blue in here. Bluish tone. I like this tone. This is a really pretty color. Probably need to add a little bit of water to it, would probably help. Let's give it a spritz, and just got that all over my hand. Oh no. Okay. So now we're going to come in here. I think this is the dark. This kind of wraps around. But it's not as dark. So I'm going to take some of the dark that I've already got mixed up that I used, and I'm putting a little bit more of that, the name of the paint that I cannot pronounce. Phthalo or Pythagorean. I don't know. I'm going to start making my second layer on this. So we're making it with a slightly darker color. Still got the blue, nice blue tone. It's just coming up from that blue. I'm not too worried about his feathers. If you end up, oops, touching everything that I mixed up except for the color. If you end up painting over these little bitty streams of little feathers in your reference, don't worry about it. I mean, you're still going to have to come over the top of it and, you know, make your little whoosh, which I could just do that right now. Let's just cover it. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. We're going to go over the top of it anyway. So there is some blue. Now I want to make this area over here a little bit lighter. So we'll just come in with some of our, yeah, still the same color. It's just not mixed in with any of the black and our darker shades. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah, that ain't too bad. Let's go after this one. I think I would rather have this one. Yeah, this is more of our phthalo blue. I like the phthalo, to be honest. And I'm just giving that a second coat of paint. We're gonna have to go in here and give it another spritz. I don't know. Let's go in here with a little bit of Prussian blue. It's not a cat, Deborah. It's not a Persian. It's a Prussian blue. Oh no, I think I should just call it a Persian blue. Just name it after a cat. That'll be fine. I like cats. I just don't have a cat because I don't want to see my hamsters get killed. Because I love my little hamsters. My little hammies are everything to me. I know they only last like 2.5 to 3 years max, but still. They don't need to feel in danger by seeing a kitty cat. Now, if I didn't have a hamster, then I wouldn't mind having a cat. You know, I'm going to make this, I'm going to give it a spritz. I'm going to give this a whole lot more of a spritz. I'm going to make this more of runny. And the reason why is so that way I can kind of glaze over the top of this highlight. So if you add enough water to it to make it more watery, then you can glaze your paint on top. And that just basically leaves that lighter color. It doesn't cover it up completely, but it does tone it down. and it tones down to basically the same colors you've been painting with down below, just a little bit more lighter. I know I need to paint a little bit more in there. Let's go in here. A little bit more of that phthalo. More pressure. Okay, so now we gave this a second coat. We need to come up here and do another coat in here. So I'm going to use the same colors, just using more of the Prussian blue or a phthalo blue, and just coming in here. I'm just adding another layer. I'm going to go over the top of that just to kind of tone that back just a little bit more. I may have made this a little bit too runny. Yeah. There is a thing. Okay. I'm going to take more of that runny color and I'm going to go over this highlight just a little bit to kind of tone that down just a shade. That looks good. Okay. Going in and around these little areas here. Around the star. I'm going to kind of take this down just a little bit here. And then we'll need another layer. Looks to me like I'm going to have to use some more of this runny, and I'm going to kind of tone that edge down just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit too bright. Oops. I'm going to give this a nice little spritz. I'm going to give this a nice little spritz. And we're going to keep on going. Try and get this blue in there and take care of it. Oops. Look, some more of my Prussian blue. And we're going to come in here and try and add some more to this area. Like that. Gonna darken this up. That looks pretty good. I like that. And then let's go in and add our second layer right in here. Still using that Prussian blue. Really just need to get around the beak a little bit here with this brush. Just getting lazy and not wanting to change out brushes. Need to stop doing that. Oops, got it in its beak a little bit there. All right, we'll help you. That should work. Let's try and get in and around this beak a little bit more before we get the bigger brush out, and then try and get a little bit more coverage area. Okay, so now we're going to switch up the brushes to my little filbert here. Oops. Gotta get out of one, not that one. What color stripe is that? White, red, white. That's a red one. I'm gonna have to watch myself. May have to take some white through there, because if you have any blue on there and then you add in your red on top of it, it will turn purple. So it's best if you got out of line on any of this stuff, like into something like that, like the colors red or even the white, that you cover it up with white paint before you apply your red or your white again. I don't know, it's kind of contradicting on that whenever I say white and you're going to paint white. But you'll just have to add white on top of whatever it is. If it's a white stripe, let it dry. And you may have to go over it again with white, let it dry, and then you can do, basically all of it should be matching. I wanted to get something here. I didn't get around this star. And I may end up, because I know we want to try and get as much as we can done on this. So I may end up working on this just a little bit more before I post it for sale on maybe getting some of these details, little details worked out. All right, so I want to go ahead and do our shadow on our star. Should be nice and dry by now. At least I would hope so. Just make sure I get around this little corner here. Okay, so like I said, you had your light blue and your white, your cobalt and your white mixture to make the little stars there. To make it a little bit of a shadow, I would take your Payne's Gray, like a little dot of it, and then blend it in with your paint. You need to take, there we go. and just kind of blend it in. And it'll come up with a little bit of a shade darker, but it'll look more like a shadow. So let's go in here and do that. Like these stars here look a little bit darker. So like the whole star. So I want to come in here and just kind of make these whole stars a little bit darker anyway. Star, this star here, a little bit dark. Around that corner, may have to add a little white to it, maybe. These are really dark stars, they're like shadow stars. If you get out of line with these, you can always either you can use your blues that you colored and or painted around these stars. You can use those blues to go on top or around the edges and clear them up. If I can get that. I don't know why words are so hard today. And let's add a little bit of shadow to this. These are just very subtle shadows. Do a little bit more. And like this here is going to be a darker shadow, kind of going across. See if I can't. I may have to add just a little bit more of the Payne's Gray in here and mix it up. Create just a little bit more paint to work with. There's that shadow kind of going across. And now I want to go across this one here. Has a little bit. It's going to be a little shadow right there. Okay. Actually got some other stars that need shadows, but I seen that I got out of line just a little bit. So just want to fix that. Voila, just like that. And then we're going to have another star. And it's going to need a little tip on it done. Got out of line just a little bit, but that's fine. Please don't fall into my paintbrush. Okay. Yeah. Don't like that color. Let's go back in it. Oh. There we go. Okay. And so then if we needed a highlight, like let's just say up here, let's just take some of that white and let's put a highlight in here. Like maybe one gonna streaking across the top of this. Or if you want another highlight, we'll put one in here. Maybe one in here. See how we're making those highlights? Because we're able to go darker. I don't know about how light I want to go on that. Those are supposed to be darker. This one here can be a little lighter. you can always mix a little bit of your blue up with the white, you know, the cobalt that you already had. Mix just a little bit, like a whole lot more of the white in there, just kind of tone it down just a tad. You can always come in here and just add a little bit of a highlight, maybe in here. Maybe in here, just maybe little touches of a highlight. So yeah, I mean, you can do that. Just kind of throw it in where you'd like your little highlight to be. And I put my little highlights in there, so they should be good. May have overdid some of it, but just take some of your blue and correct anything that needs to be corrected. Here we go. So I mean, we got, for the most part, a lot of our stars taken care of here. There may be some places that maybe might need some little touch-up areas. Keep on noticing. But I'm thinking I'm just going to do that probably on my part. Let's try and get that red taken care of, though. I really would like to do the red, white, and blue. Oh. Let's put just a little bit of that in there. There. So now we got that. This one's going to need a little tip of cobalt. All right. So pretty much this flag looks pretty good to me. And we could probably move on and let's just do the red, the white stripes. I've got enough of my white on there. I'm probably gonna have to change my palette. Like using these tearaway sheets for the palette paper. I really don't want to waste my white though. Make sure you get this brush. Get this brush. Scoop off some of my white. Well, there's the white so I don't get it all over me. How long have we been going? I really hate that this is, I know this is like a long one. Let's see here. 1 or 2, yeah, about 2.5 hours we've been running. So we're gonna at least, for the most part, I want the American flag to be done today. So we are definitely gonna finish it. We're gonna do the red and the white. As far as getting the bird done, we may have to do that again. So, okay, this is cadmium red. I really would like more of a darker red. I really don't want to go too bright. This is more of a darker kind of flag. Let's see here. Where's my darker colors? Cadmium deep red. I like that. And then I should have a Brazilian right here. Yeah. Let's do a zillion. We want the deep red. And if we're going to make anything brighter, I would say just use a medium. Let's stick with those. If you want anything darker or working into a purpley kind of color. So it's going to be more of like, I like to add Payne's Gray, so it may end up being Payne's Gray, but we shall see. Ooh, and the white stripe down here, this is a white stripe, so it's going to be really dark. It shows it really dark there too. We may need Payne's Gray. Okay, that's fine. So we'll do white. We're going to do Payne's Gray. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit more white. Because our white, I know good and well that white is going to be gone. Got lots of white to do. Okay, we're going to do a cadmium red deep hue. I thought I had a zillion. Here's a zillion. Okay, we're going to do cadmium deep. This is such a different color, by the way. These here, just to let you know, because it's important, we got a cadmium deep red hue. This is Liquitex Basics. Cadmium red deep hue. It's kind of like the same colors, just a little bit backwards. And there's like a big color difference in that. Like big time. So just want to let you guys know that even though I'm using cadmium deep red hue in the Academy acrylics, they're actually darker than the Liquitex Basics. So, I don't know. Let's take it out. I almost want to say it's kind of like the Azilian color, but it's really not that either. It's more of a rusty kind of color. I think that if you added a little bit of a brownish tone to it, maybe they would get it, but there's my lighter red. So we'll just use that toward the very, very bottom. Like where it's like super dark red, we may use it. But not right now. Not right now. Let's give it a nice little spritz. Let's give our canvas a nice little spritz. I'm really thinking that this might not be too much of a... That's definitely not blue. My water's blue. Okay, so let's start out with this brighter red. I spritz my canvas. Or I spritz my palette. Now I'm going to spritz my canvas. Boy, I'm getting to where I can't talk. So we're going to do the brighter red, which is cadmium medium hue, up on the top. Kind of remove some of this paint too. That way I can get nice, smooth, even tone. Okay, so that one there is done. The top's white, or the top red there. Actually, that was supposed to be white. Oops. Well, I kind of messed up a little bit. Darn it. My flag's gonna look different now. Good job, Deborah. I guess he gets to see me how I fix a mistake. Because this girl thought it was starting with red. And it's not. It starts with white. There. So I caught it when it was still wet. There. Now it's back. Just like that. I fixed it. I fixed it. It'll be alright. So now what I'm going to do is take that same red. What we're going to do is stick it down here. Now we are definitely going to have to wait till this dries. We're probably going to use a hair dryer on it if we get to that point to make sure it is completely dry before adding on our white. There. So that's our brighter red. Now the next stripe is going to be a little bit more of a darker red. So I'm going to use our, well actually, let's use some of our deep red. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just add some of this deep red. I may have to come in here and add a little bit of this deep red right up in here. If it looks a little bit dry, I would just go ahead and give it a nice little spritz. Both sides. I know I'm really getting in there. They're like, gosh, your whole head's like in the painting. Because I'm half blind. Half blind. Okay. Coming in here, let's do some more. Going in, holding it kind of close, so that way I got better control and it's not as loose. But we are going to get right up close to this blue. And get right down to where it meets with the eagle. Okay. And see, there should be a little bit more of a darker tone in there. That's when I would get this Azalean Crimson. And even while it's still wet, you can go in here and just kind of brush in. Well, see, the Azalean doesn't pop up that great. Let's take some of this deep red hue out of the Academy acrylics. Now see, that makes a difference. There's a little bit more of a darker tone in there. And I like that. I just have to wait until it dries. Add another coat to it. So it's the very, very bottom sliver that is a whole lot darker. It's this one right, I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there in that corner. So I'm going to take the darkest color, which is going to be the deep red hue, but in the Academy acrylics because it's just so much darker. And I'm going to try turning this for just a second because I'm going to try and get this edge, and it's just so hard to get it when it's close to the bottom. Now, as you can see, it just doesn't look the same color. It looks more rusty looking. And it's fine because I'm going to come in and I'm going to take a little dab of my Payne's Gray and then some of the Azalea Crimson. I'm going to mix that up. Let's just go in here and paint it that color. Be a whole lot better. And don't worry that if it's not like super dark right now, you got to add a couple layers to it and then it will be darker. So then the other one, I'm going to flip this again. Oh, it's being flipped. Okay. Make sure, yeah, this sliver right here is also really, really dark. I've got a lot loaded, way more than what I need on this brush. I'm actually really surprised that it doesn't like yell timber into my white area. I'm going to kind of clean that off just a little bit. Here we go. There we go. That's clean. All right, so we want this to dry. I'm going to dry this real quick with a hair dryer. So I'm going to turn you on mute so no ears are hurting. All right, so we are back. I'm going to go ahead and do a nice little flip on this. And now we are going to go over that red again. So, yay, we get to do it again. But I want to make that a little bit darker. So I'm going to come in with my cadmium medium hue. And I definitely want to put this in here because I don't want it that bright. Ooh, and guess what I didn't do? Did you guys notice? I didn't spray my canvas. So that could end up leading to dry brushing. Make sure we spritz. That looks good. Okay. Now what I'll do is add the lighter color on top of that stripe, just to kind of give a little bit of a highlight color. Or lighter red is the highlight color here. There. We could end up sticking, well, I don't really want to, not yet. I would like to make it a little bit darker. So we took some of this Azalean Crimson, then came in here. And see, it wasn't really dark enough. So we needed to make it darker. So we added some Azalean Crimson and a touch of the Payne's Gray. Let's do that. That looks a whole lot better. Got a shadow going on. Let's take just plain old Azalean Crimson. Throw those colors in there. Okay, let's take some of our medium hue or deep, I think it's a medium. No, it's the deep hue. I really like this color just because of how rich it is. It's just a very beautiful color. Get that right in that corner and then bring it back out. Let's go ahead and do it on this side. And right in here. That looks really good. I like that. So now we got to get the bottom of this flag. So what we're going to do is turn it upside down again. Yep, but I definitely touched that red. Like, totally touched the red. Good job, Deborah. Wish I had like the applause button. Be like, yay. Definitely got it all over me. Okay. I'm a Smurf too. Oh well, who cares? All right, let's turn it around. I touched the red again. Here. There we go. Don't touch anything else. Okay, we're good. And we are going to go back through and we're going to take our darker color here that we had, which was the Azalean Crimson mixed in with our deep cadmium hue off of the acrylics, cadmium acrylics, and a touch of the Payne's Gray. Come over here and do the same thing, giving it a second layer. There we go. It's definitely darker. I'm going to go ahead and blow dry this to get this dry because we're going to start working on the white on this flag. So I'm going to mute you. Let's blow dry. Okay, so we got that dry. So now I'm going to flip it around And we're going to start working on the white of the flag. Now I know I've been on here for, let's see here, 1, 2. Okay, so it looks like I've been on here for about 3 hours, and we'll probably get this flag done at least within the 3-hour mark is where we're at right now. So I am going to, we're going to finish off the flag with the white because we definitely need to do that. But since it's such a long video, I knew it was going to be, and I'd really like to not take like 6 or 7 hours to do this whole entire video, a live stream today. So what I'm thinking is that we're going to finish the white on the flag. And if you guys are wanting to see the rest of this done, like working specifically on the eagle, so we're going to do the whole entire eagle, I will have that over on my Patreon. And it'll be another live stream. I'll probably do it tomorrow. That way we have basically the whole thing done in 2 days. So we'll have it done. And I'll make it to where it's free for everybody to watch on Patreon. So I will post that on my Patreon. So if you guys are wanting to see the eagle done, please, please, please go over to my Patreon. Link is in the description below. Head on over there, and all you have to do is click on free member, or if you're wanting to be a Patreon and want to watch all of my videos that I have on there, plus all the perks that I've got over there, which is amazing. So totally different things that's over there. If you're wanting to do that, I would be forever grateful. That would be awesome. But if you just want to go hop on over there just to kind of see the rest of this, I'll have it for free for all members. Just be a free member. And we'll do the eagle over there. Because, yeah, I'm really, really picky about how my paintings turn out since I will be selling it. So it definitely is taking a little bit longer than what I would hope. So tomorrow, Patreons. I said I wasn't going to come out with a video for Patreon. Looks like we're going to have a live stream. So, and we'll be finishing the eagle. And it'll be free for anybody. Just go there and join as a free member. If you want to donate and have a part of the Patreon where you're helping this channel out, that would be amazing. So, stripes. We're going to do kind of similar to what we did before with the stripes. So what we're going to do is take my cobalt blue, put a whole lot of red down. I should have never done that. I wonder if I can actually put it back in the bottle. That really, and it's working. So if you guys ever pour too much paint, you can always do this. Just takes a long time. I totally did that. Or make messes like me. Alright, enough playing around. Let's go ahead and get this done. It's like, I don't have, ADD or nothing. It's like I get distracted and be like, oh, look, squirrel. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get our cobalt. We don't need much. Just a little pinch. We've already got our paints gray down for any kind of shadowing. We just need a whole lot of white. A whole lot of it. Because I just want to make sure we don't run out. And a pinch of blue. And if we need to, well, it looks about the right color. It actually looks perfect. We don't need any more white. Okay, I'm going to give it a nice little spritz. I'm going to give our canvas a nice little spritz, and let's do this. Let's do it. Don't stop now. And you're probably asking me, why did you go with this light blue again? Because we needed to match the stars on the other side. Because if we don't, it'll just, you'll tell the difference that they're blue stars. So you definitely want to kind of use the same thing. Oops. Jeez almighty, did I go out of bounds. I guess that's the reason why you can't sit down for 6 to 8 hours straight, is because Deborah will go a little loopy and just decide to draw and make up her own lines. Just like I did right here. If you guys are ever wondering on how to fix mistakes, it's like here, I'll show you. Okay. Kind of a little bit of a bummer. Let's take and fix that just a little bit. I have to add the red in there. If I don't fix it completely, I am gonna forever just stare at it. There. Good for now. If I need to change it or add another layer to the red, I could do that. That was totally my bad. So yeah, I can only sit down for a little while. I knew this was going to be a longer video. I know that it takes me a whole lot longer to do my videos on doing full paintings. Like, you see some people just go through it so quickly, and it's like if they're on a live. But with me, I'm just so, I don't know. Like, I definitely like to work at a slower pace, making sure every little thing is like perfect, and try and get as close as I possibly can. I wouldn't say perfect. But I try. I attempt. Like everybody else attempts to try and do something. Try to do it as good. I am totally going out of line. This girl's gonna be... It's alright. I'm almost to the finish line on here. Let's try and get this. There we go. Let's kind of clean that up. Yep. That looks pretty good. I need to tell myself it'll be alright. Don't rush. So I am definitely a slower worker when it comes to painting or anything like that. I definitely enjoy taking my time. Let's try and get a point on there. Yeah, it's good. I'm going to go in here and we are going to do the same thing. Seems to me like these are still kind of brighter. They're not really that dark. Actually, I'm going to turn this. Let's turn this up and down. And I've got enough on my brush to where I can go over the top of some of that rough edged white or red that I had there was a little rough looking, but now I just smoothed it out because I went over the top of it and I had quite a bit on my brush too. So that way it was able to cover. I didn't use as much water mixture with this because I definitely want to make it more opaque, just a little bit more opaque by not mixing in as much as the water as I would. Because I don't really feel like going over this little edge here so many times. There we go. All right. That, for instance, it already looks brighter. Let's turn this all the way around and let's work on this edge here. Oops. That scared me. My cardboard came undone. Put cardboard on my easel because I think it actually helps out a whole lot when I put cardboard down with the cameras. Like, it was having some issues really whiting out everything that I was working on, like with the paintings and the live streams. It was like whiting it out, but I put the cardboard down and I haven't seemed to have any issues now. Okay, so now we have that. Go ahead and get this dry so that way we can add in some shadows and some highlights. Even though this one here just looks so much whiter already. Let's touch that. Let's turn it around. I took something. Okay, let's go ahead and get this dry. So I'm gonna mute you guys for just a second. All right, so I am back. Let's go ahead and get this some shadowing done, some white in there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and take, let's put it on that brush. I'm gonna take some of my white, make sure all this is spritzed and spritzed. And we are going to go over the top of this with some of the white. Oops. Okay. Looks pretty good. I'm going to rinse that off, and then we are going to go in and put some more white in. See here. Looked like there was some in here too. Just gonna put it in some of that white highlight in there. Oops. Ugh. I can always tell whenever it's time. It's like, okay, I thought I could finish this for you guys. And what happened? Deborah's starting to make mistakes. Like, just goofy mistakes. And that could just be because I'm tired. Like, you have to step away from your painting, so at any time you feel like that, where you're just like painting and then you get over exaggerated on things, that may just be because you need to step away from your painting, give it some time away from your painting, then you can come back later. And that is probably what I'm going to have to do. Because I'm starting to make silly, silly mistakes. So here I'm taking the shadow on off to this side. Let's be a whole lot darker. And I mixed just a little bit of Payne's Gray into the cobalt and white mixture. Let's make a little bit of a shadow in here too. Thinking like, just make it spritz that a little bit too. So I want to blend that out just with my brush and just kind of scrubbing it is what I'm doing. There we go. Getting try and turn this sideways. I made that a little bit too light there. Kind of over exaggerated it just a bit. I will have to make that darker though. Let's see if I can come in here. To cover that, there we go. So I added a little bit of a darker tone to it, but I also want to come back in with some more and just kind of soften those edges up just a little bit. And that's just using my cobalt and white mixture. I'm not getting rid of all the dark shadow. And then after I do that, I may have to take some white in there. So for like a highlight, let's just take it and just kind of make it kind of stream through here. Maybe right in this area. There. Put in more of this white in here. Looks really good. Now I'm going to take and flip this around again. So now we got our American flag and yeah. Oh, let's do another flip. Boom. This here needs to be gotten again with the shadow. Yeah, I like that. It's definitely in the shadows. Then I want to get this again with our more of a rusty red here. I'm just going to call it rusty. There is no way that that's a cadmium deep red. There we go. So we got those colors in there. Now on the blue and stuff that I did already, I mean, I can already tell that probably it needs another layer on the blue. I think from your guys's viewpoint, it probably doesn't, but I definitely see a lot of areas that you probably want to come in here and add a little bit more of a third layer, basically, to the blue. Maybe some of the white and the stars might need to be put in just a little bit more of the white. Like put some more. Just to kind of add. May have went out of boundaries on the top, but I still got my Payne's gray, so probably just do it that way. Let's just take the Payne's gray. Go over it. Won't hurt nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, pretty much that is how you get the flag. I really wish that we could do the whole entire eagle also. That was my plan, is to get this whole entire thing done and get the eagle done. But the way it's looking right now, it's like I am definitely zonked. A little tired. That's a whole lot of painting for like 4 hours. I think it's 4. Yes, it's been 4 hours, a little over 4 hours. So super, super long live stream, double the time that I'm normally used to doing. So what we're going to do is join me over on Patreon. Link is in the description below, or you can just see it right here, like in between me and the palette. Type that in, go over to my Patreon, become a member, and if you're wanting to do a free member, perfectly fine. If you're wanting to help out with and be a Patreon, that definitely goes for the art channel too. It goes for Powerful Pack boxes when we start getting into those, you know, to be able to get them, to do reviews. It goes for all the supplies needed to in order to teach you guys or give you guys lessons or hit tips and all that stuff. Yeah, that definitely is where it goes to. So if you guys can definitely help out, be a Patreon. If not, be a free member and catch all my, like each month I'll give you in like little themes of the month that I do each month. And also if we end up having something like this happen to where we need to do another live stream on it, that will be held over at the Patreon for anybody to watch. It'll be a free member only. So yeah, or not free member only. What am I talking about? For anybody on Patreon, if you're a member, you get to watch it. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much gonna end this for over 4 hours. So click the like if you like this video. I know it's a longer one. It's just as special because it's 4th of July. So anyways, yeah, if you want to watch the eagle, head on over to Patreon. I will probably end up doing that. I want to say tomorrow we could do the eagle and just get it done and do that second half on Patreon, or we could end up having it on like Saturday. So we shall see. I will just definitely let you guys know over on the Patreon, and I may make a YouTube. I will probably send a message on YouTube also for the community to let you guys know what's happening with that. So anyways, until next time, happy 4th of July, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!